Welcome, everybody. You know what day it is. It's Friday. You know what time it is. It's a little after 2 o'clock on your hometown station, AM-1220 KHTS. That means it's time for the Gazette Radio Hour with Doug and John. John, how are you?
I'm good, Doug. How you doing, man?
Great.
Hey, I need $1.
Huh?
I need $1.
Huh?
I need you to give me $1, Doug. I'm not kidding, Doug. I need $1.
What do you think I am, Maddie?
Oh my gosh! Did you see that? That had to have been one
Tell
of the
our
first
listeners.
Oh my gosh! All right, so it's to me it's the silliest season. You know, when you have these really ridiculous campaigns and everybody sends out these emails and these flyers and the world is coming to an end. Only you can help me defeat it. Now in California, the funny part is we don't get that stuff, but in target states like New Hampshire and Iowa and stuff, they've been inundated.
Right.
All right.
They're not looking for money, are they?
Well, yeah, aren't they always? So Hillary Clinton apparently sends out an email to some girl named, Millie?
Maddie.
Maddie, that's right. Maddie just happens to be the girl that posted it on the web.
And it went viral.
It went viral. Now, Maddie, the way the email reads, it was like, it's an imperative time, Maddie. I need you to stop what you're doing and donate $1 right now. I'm not kidding, Maddie. Well, you can imagine what people have done with that. Yeah, the most interesting man in the world doesn't usually donate $1, but when he does, he's not kidding, Maddie. It's snowballed, and it's like it's almost, to me, it's almost degrading for them to go around and beg for money,
Right?
Especially under false pretenses. I mean, you may disagree, but if Hillary Clinton doesn't get nominated and doesn't get elected president, I don't think the world's coming to an end. See, that was a double negative there, Doug. That was a lawyer trick. No, if she gets... Now, obviously, I think maybe in your opinion, if she does get nominated and elected president, the world might come to an end, but that's a whole other issue.
Is Bernie pulling the same stuff?
I don't think Bernie's pulling the same stuff. And Trump is self-funding, which is interesting. But now there's super PACs coming out saying... Well, a super PAC is a big, massive political fundraiser pile of money.
Right.
Okay.
And the candidates can't even communicate with them.
Candidates don't communicate with them. And the funny part is they usually endorse, 90% of the time I would imagine, they endorse a candidate. Maybe the other 9.9% of the time they have a particular issue that they're interested in. Right. The big one now is the one to stop Trump.
Right.
Anyone but Trump. It's like, oh, come on, people. How about we vote?
Did you see the one with the caricature of the kids playing with the dolls of Trump?
Oh, jeez. It's getting fun. I mean, could you see Trump as president? Saturday Night Live would have a blast.
Oh, man.
This is going to make somebody's career like Tina Fey with Sarah Palin.
Because it'd be kind of hard to mimic Ted Cruz, although they'd find a way. But it wouldn't be the same as Trump.
No. And I don't think.
Or Hillary, that lady on Saturday Night Live does a great Hillary.
Oh my goodness. Like, as a comedian, you would probably love a Trump and Hillary debate. That would be a complete issue with Saturday Night Live.
I don't know, John. I mean, I would much rather have Trump than the other two, but I don't know how presidential. I don't know. Other than Hillary, Bernie. I don't think Bernie's electable. He's fun. Yeah.
But I don't think he's electable. I mean, once people realize...
Don't you think that if Clinton gets indicted and is forced out of the race, somebody's going to... Joe Biden or Michael Bloomberg.
I believe Biden is biding his time. What was it with President Nixon 10, rested and ready, Nixon in 74 or something like that?
Yeah.
It was a bad campaign slogan, but I imagine that's exactly what's going to happen.
Oh, did you hear when Bill was trying to comfort Hillary at dinner the other night? Because she was distraught after she lost New Hampshire and this email stuff.
She lost?
New Hampshire.
Yeah. She lost.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. She lost? Anyway, no, I didn't see.
We'll get back to that. But anyway, Bill's having dinner with her, and her husband said, "Don't worry, honey. Nelson Mandela wasn't elected president until after he spent 26 years in prison."
Oh.
So I think that helped. That comforted her.
Doug, that was like almost a joke from you.
It was on Facebook.
It was. Oh man, and here I am thinking Doug made his own joke. All right. Well, you've been listening to Gazette Radio Hour with more jokes from Doug per hour than
that I steal.
Oh yeah, stolen jokes. AM-1220 KHTS, Santa Cruz hometown station. Doug, is that right? Still?
I think that's it.
Okay, all right. We'll be back after these messages.
We are back, everybody, on your hometown station, AM-1220 KHTS. It's the Gazette Radio Hour with Doug and John. It's the radio digest version of the Santa Cruz Gazette for all you need to know to be in the know.
Now, Doug, before the break, we were talking, and you said something that raised... I came up with a brilliant idea. I think we should do this every week between now and the respective...
Wait, it's your idea and you're saying it's brilliant?
Okay.
Or can I be the judge of it?
All right, you can be the judge of it. I think we should do a delegate count.
Like a scoreboard
like
type
a scoreboard
thing?
type
Absolutely.
thing. I think it's
Brilliant
idea. All right, so let's review, shall we? All right. I don't know exactly. Do you know when the conventions are? I didn't look.
They're in the summer. I know
They're
that.
in the summer, and I know one.
I want to say July and August.
Yeah, I think it's July and August. I think you might be right. That gives them, several months to kill us with presidential garbage that we don't really care about.
Getting tired of it already. But anyway.
All right, so I know that on the Republican side, they need 1,237 delegates to win. I think it's about the same on the Democratic side. We'll verify all these facts. But right now, as of now, the scorecard on the Republican side is, you got to think about this. Trump did okay in Iowa. Okay, and he did really good in
New Hampshire.
So he's got 17 delegates pledged.
Right.
Cruz with 10. Rubio with 10, Kasich with 5, Bush with 4, and Carson with 3.
It kind of goes along the lines of the way the votes have gone.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, I would imagine if you tallied all the votes from
Iowa and New Hampshire, right?
Okay. Now, on the Democratic side, it's Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton. Bernie Sanders did really well in Iowa, surprisingly well. I mean, from what I understand, that was a pretty much a decent shot.
Landslide.
He lost.
Right.
But
wasn't Iowa was really
Iowa was supposed to be.
So Bernie should be way ahead in delegate counts.
Well, he crushed in New Hampshire.
Right.
Okay.
And was close in Iowa.
And he did very close in Iowa. Right now, he's got 15 delegates.
Okay,
he's got 15 delegates. Hillary Clinton, at this point in time, won Iowa.
Right.
Okay.
Barely.
I
mean, it was smidgen close.
It was smidgen close. And got trounced 60 to 38% in
New Hampshire.
And she also has 15 delegates.
What? Wait a minute. They're tied in the.
Let me check my research here. No,
they're tied in the delegate count.
They're tied in the delegate count. They are tied in the delegate.
How can that be, sir?
Well,
that makes zero sense to me.
Well, of course it does. You're not a Democrat, and B, you're not a mathematician, but you could probably play one in this particular instance. There's something called superdelegates in the Democratic Party. Superdelegates. No, they don't fly around in capes and little tights, which would be awesome. Wouldn't that be great?
No, you're not. No, wait. Time out. You're serious about this, or are you joking?
I am serious. There are 712 what they call superdelegates. Now, this goes back to, you were probably there, the Democratic Convention in Chicago. You were probably outside rioting at the time, right?
No, I was watching it on TV.
Okay, there you go.
My black and white with the...
There you go. And actually, it actually goes back to that. And then shortly after that, they did some revisions, and they did some more revisions after McGovern, who was just going to get swamped.
Right.
Got swamped.
Right.
They came up with this superdelegate idea. So these 712 individuals are appointed by the state Democratic committee to be delegates to the convention. They are unpledged.
Now, who selects them?
The state Democratic committee, the Democratic committee, the Democratic big people Democrats. Yeah.
So high-powered Democrats within a certain state.
Yes, the Democratic Central Committee probably selects the superdelegates for that.
And they can't vote in the primary?
They don't need to vote in the primary. They are pledged to vote however they want to be, however they want to vote at the convention. Okay? So the only way, what happened is Hillary got 6 of these guys to come out
before the voting even started.
Right now she's got 394 before the vote even started. She's got 394 that have already endorsed her. Now, the endorsement...
That doesn't sound right to me.
The endorsement is a little bit shaky, okay? And I'm not exactly sure that this is a great story because there's some stuff going on here. But these superdelegates usually are pledged way before it starts. But they're not tied to that pledge, so they can switch back and forth. Okay, so
they could be swayed.
They could be swayed.
They could be bribed.
So right now, while it is 15 to 15, if you count these superdelegates, there's basically 32 delegates in New Hampshire, 8 of which are superdelegates. Hillary got 6 of them. Okay, but they don't technically count in the official count. Right now, it's still 15 to 9.
I got to ask you this again. Those super delegates had nothing to do with the voting that happened in New Hampshire.
No,
nothing.
No, that's my understanding.
That's incredulous.
Incredulous.
That's backhanded.
Have you been reading your thesaurus again, Doug?
That's crooked.
It's not crooked. It just is.
Okay, wait. Time out. Do the Republicans do the same thing?
No, the Republicans don't do the same thing.
They don't have...
I just came up with something. Now we did have a big thing on Tuesday, right? The city council vote about the whole Lemley Theater thing.
Yeah, what about
Can you imagine if there were super delegates
in
the city council?
Can I be one?
I mean, you would have. I mean, you could pledge, 20 votes against something. Whoa, because we do need to do something. I went to that meeting.
I watched it on TV.
I went to that meeting, and the animosity that was generated by an art house theater.
Yes.
From the people in the crowd to the other people in the crowd. We'll get to the councilmen themselves in a second. But the people to the people. People in favor of it, people not in favor of it. If you're not in favor of this theater, you don't like bicycles.
Yeah.
What?
You don't like Santa Clarita?
You don't like outdoors. You don't like Santa Clarita. You're just
you're a moron.
Horrible person.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, it's just, I say from day one, it's like, oh, it seems like a cool investment. Better make sure there's a good return on investment.
Right.
All about the money. It's the economy, stupid. What do you think, Doug? Okay, let me interview you. You came out, the Gazette came out as against it.
As against the construction subsidy.
Okay, the construction subsidy.
Right.
You're not against the arts. You want our kids to be able to have a cultured existence, right, Doug?
It's not for me, but yes, I think the city, for folks who like that sort of thing, should definitely happen.
And what about our children, Doug? Do you care about our children? Do you want them to be able to color? That's how stupid this whole thing got. It really did, and it aggravated me because where did the people in the audience get this animosity from?
Well, I guess what bothered me, John, of all the people that were in favor of it, they kept saying Santa Clarita needs this. We need this. I heard the word need 20 times.
They want it.
Yeah, they don't need it. Yeah. We need roads. We don't need a theater.
We need a hospital on the east side, maybe. Let's throw that out there. But what struck me is this animosity was palpable. I mean, you could feel it. You could cut it. It was emotional.
Yeah.
And then it dawned on me. These people are getting their lead from somewhere. And I think they're getting it from the relationships between our city council people. I think they're seeing the animosity between the city councilmen. I mean, council people,
right?
Council members, whatever you want to call it.
I think you're onto something. I really do.
That animosity, and and I'm not going to point. I can point fingers because I think while it's okay to be a maverick and speak your mind, there's a way to do it. There's a way not to do it. And I think some lines were crossed the other night.
I agree, but at the same time, the way you react to that maverick.
Those lines were also crossed.
Somehow not professional.
Yeah, those lines were also crossed. Right. And I think the entire city council needs to rein it back a little bit. Watch that tape.
Yeah.
Go back and watch and see if you're proud of the way you acted. It started with a second reading. Do you know what a second reading is? It's something we've already passed and the staff has put together, and here's the bill. Read it.
Right.
And we're fighting at that?
Yeah.
It's not 10%, it's 5 plus 5. Well, last time I did math, that's 10%.
Right.
But you want to be a jerk about it on both sides?
Right.
Not a place for the city council. How do you deal with it? You've got to deal with these people. Did you get a lot of animosity in trying to break this story? You came out against it, so you were probably...
Well, John, yeah, that was in my call and my opinion piece. But my reporter tried to contact every single one of and I'm just going to be honest with you because it's fact. There's 3 members of the city council who will not return and never have my reporters' phone calls to ask for an interview. 2 of them are pretty good about doing it. The 2 gentlemen are good about doing it, and the other 3 act like we don't exist.
Should we just name names?
Yeah.
All right, so who are the 2? Can I guess?
Yeah.
I would guess the 2 guys that are, well, you said 2 gentlemen, so I'm assuming that it's probably Bob Keller and Tim Ben.
Yes, correct.
There you go. That makes sense. Because we've tried as a radio show to get the other 3. We've had Dante on a couple times, but now he won't call us back.
Right.
And it's kind of frustrating from a citizen standpoint, a concerned citizen standpoint, when all I want to do and all we've talked about with this show is let's present some evidence. Let's present both sides of the story.
Both sides. As a newspaper, I want to be like
gotta have both
fair
sides.
and balanced.
Yeah, you got to have both sides.
But if the people on one side won't talk to you, how can you present their side?
Yeah, and that is a problem. That is a problem. When you said fair and balanced, that reminds me of Trump.
Why?
Can he be president, really?
Donald Trump?
Donald Trump. Could he really be president?
I think he could.
I'm not 100%
Well, let
positive.
me ask you. I mean, he could be, or how do I say this? It looks like he has a good shot of being so.
Okay, do you think he could act as if he were president?
I think he would. I think he'd mold himself to the role, don't you?
Isn't that part of the problem?
What do you mean?
Isn't that part of the problem? Well, if people like him because he hasn't molded himself yet?
Yeah, that's true.
When he molds himself, is he going back in time to be something he's not?
I don't know. Good question. I think we have somebody on the line that knows him, though.
Do we really?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow, this is like 2 degrees of separation. I know you, and you know somebody who knows Trump.
Folks, you're listening to the Gazette Radio Hour, Doug and John, and we have a special guest on the line. He's the general manager at TPC, that very, very nice country club out there on the other side of the 5, right?
Yeah, really
Have
nice.
you been there? Very nice.
I've not been there, but if our guest wants to make those arrangements, I'm more than willing to.
Mr. Mike Vandergoes, are you with us, Mike?
I am, Doug.
Okay, say hi to John.
John, how are you?
Good, Mike. How you doing? Nice. Glad you could come on today.
So we had our front page story last week in the Gazette was Mike's past working relationship with Donald Trump. Why don't you just jump in, Mike, and tell us how that happened? How did that all get started with Mr. Trump?
Well, it all just started when he basically took over a distressed property called Ocean Trails and purchased it from the bank, from receivership, and I was in the capacity of a director of golf at that facility. We were playing golf one day, and I know that he made some changes with a prior general manager, and he was on the golf course with myself and our superintendent. We were on hole number 6. He stops the cart before he hit a shot and said, "So, Mike," and then he calls over the superintendent. He said, "You guys have been awful quiet. Well, haven't you guys ever seen somebody get fired before?" And I said, "Oh, yeah, I have." And he said, if you work with me long enough, you may get that opportunity as well.
Wow.
That was your first dealing with it?
Yes. No, that was probably a couple months into it.
Okay.
But he does have a sense of humor like nobody else. He is very, I would say, charismatic to an extent. But so he asked. He said, "Who do you think? We need to get a GM. Who do you think would be best suited to take that position?" And I wasn't quite sure if that was a softball pitch that he had sent to me or thrown to me, thinking, okay, well, how much does he value himself? What does he think about himself?
Yeah,
so I said, well, I would. And he said, why? And I said, well, I've got the golf background. I know about the merchandise. I know about the open to buy. I'm a director of golf. I deal with the food and beverage. I know how to do tournament contracts. Obviously, I don't have a ton of experience in the fine dining because
right.
I know that the restaurant was fine dining. But I can always hire people that can do that for me, and I can learn from them as well. And that's a summary of the conversation. He proceeded to hit his golf shot, got in the cart, and said, let's go. And we never spoke about it for the rest of the round. And at the conclusion of the round, I'm back to my office, and the vice president of the Trump organization by the name of Vinny Stelio came into my office, and he said, hey, I was just talking to the boss, and he said that you're interested in the GM position. And I said, no, Vinny, that's not what I said. I said that he asked who best would be suited here at this facility currently. And so I said, I would. And I explained to him why and so forth. So he sat down with me and said, let me just kind of tell you exactly what kind of position you're going to be putting in. And it's a stressful position. Doesn't matter if you're a janitor with him or if you're a GM, he's going to expect a lot. I said, okay. Spoke to my wife. My wife said, absolutely no way do I want you to be a GM again. And so the next morning I come in, and Mr. Stelio's in my office waiting for me, and he said, we need to call Mr. Trump. I said, sure. And so we got on the phone with Mr. Trump, and then at that time he explained why he was looking for somebody on-site versus going out and getting somebody off-site, because the final season, or the first season of The Apprentice had started, and the Trump property, which is the real estate and golf, or the Trump Tower property in Chicago was going to be one of the two managing opportunities that the winner from the first season.
Oh, okay, I get it.
That.
So what Mr. Trump, in speaking to me, he said, Mike, I don't want to go outside of the club, displace somebody only for 6 months, and then find out that whoever wins the first season wants this project, and then I got to fire him. He said, that's not fair.
Right.
So I said, okay, I understand. So I went from an interim and then eventually to permanent GM in that capacity.
Wow. All right, so let's go back a little bit. So you're playing golf with Donald Trump. That's got to be pretty fun.
It is. It's a lot of fun. He is very intense when it comes to work, but you take him away from that work environment, he is just an average Joe like anybody else.
Yeah. How do you play?
He's probably around, if he plays a lot, he can be probably around a 6 handicap. I would say he hovers around maybe between an 8 to a 10.
So he probably shot about, 82, 83 that day?
Yeah.
And I imagine you probably shot 84.
No, he was very competitive, but so am I.
Oh, okay.
The first time I ever met him, we were in the ballroom, and he said, "Well, who's my head professional?" And so I raised my hand, and he said everybody else can be dismissed after he introduced himself and he went through a spiel, and he said, "Meet me at the cart staging area." And I said, "Okay." And so we went out there, and he said, "Go get your clubs." So I went, and we went to the first tee, and he says, "Well, this is your job interview." He says, "I beat you, you're fired."
Whoa. Wow. No pressure.
I don't want to be able to beat my pro.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's a good point, actually.
So, Mike, let me ask you this. Recently on his campaign stops, he's been saying bad words. He's getting a lot of criticism for saying those vulgar words. Did he say those kind of words on the golf course?
No, definitely not.
Wow.
That's funny. So from there you came up to you got stuck up in Valencia. That's got to be horrible, huh? Wow.
No, it was a mutual agreement to kind of move on. Did I love working for him? Yes, I did. Does he have a different side that many people don't see? I would say 100% yes.
You talking about in a good way?
I would say in a very good way. I would say that if I were to have to lump him into one word, I would say altruistic.
Wow. Huh. So, Mike, what is your opinion about him being our president?
He currently has a very good shot of making that happen.
But how do you feel about it, as far as your experience with him on a working basis? Could he handle the job?
Oh, he definitely could handle it.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. All right, so real quick, what's going on in the TPC?
Right now, just trying to get out of, if you want to call it the winter weather, and it doesn't sound like winter weather right now or look like it. So we are currently extremely busy. January and February are usually our slowest months out of the year. Mm-hmm. So we are starting to ramp up. Wedding season will start probably at the end of this month and continue through July. So we'll start ramping up with additional staffing. The nice part about TPC is that we are 100% reclaimed water for the golf course. So we don't have many of the water restrictions that many other golf courses do. So we're not taking potable water and irrigating the golf course with it.
That's why it's always so green and lush over there. It's beautiful.
Because that other, I won't mention his name, but the one on the other side of town, off of Sand Canyon, isn't looking so hot.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's a very good track. It's a very good location. Yeah. It's very picturesque when it was able to have the necessary water. And we in the golf business never like to see another facility fail. I think it's just like additional shops in the mall. You want all the shops to be vibrant and productive and successful, because that just means that more people come around and more people start playing golf, and ultimately both of us benefit from that.
Mike, I want to go back to Donald Trump. Working with him on a daily basis, did he how did he get angry? Did he fly off the handle? I'm just trying to get a feel on his management style.
Management style, I would say very rigid. He has quite a lot of different projects in the air, and it always amazed me that he remembered what he spoke with me a month ago, and once he shines the light back on you, you better have what it was that you needed to be complete. So he has a memory like an elephant.
Guess it's better than a memory like a donkey, right? See what I did there?
Get it.
So, all right, Mike, forget Mr. Trump for a second. Let's go back. I need golf tips. What's the one tip that you would give someone who's probably, I don't know, I was thinking about this today, I'm probably like a 30 handicap. Give up golf?
No, I would say somebody who is just starting and probably a 30 handicapper, my first tip would be put the driver away.
Yes.
And tee off with the 3-wood, tee off with the 5-wood, put the driver away. You're going to be a lot more successful. You're going to be a lot more accurate.
All right, there you go, Doug. See now, and then the other question is, how do we get Doug to play golf?
Wait a minute, that's why you wanted to have Mike on. You don't care about Trump. You want to talk about golf.
I needed golf tips. How do we get Doug to play golf? Wouldn't that be fun?
No, it's not a pretty sight.
Well, as long as he doesn't have a rant.
He probably would. It would be a good rant. We could record it, put it on YouTube.
So anyway.
Yeah, that would be a video. Doug's video rant.
Doug's video rant.
That would be embarrassing. All right, Mike.
It would be good for hits and clicks on it.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, if that's what you're looking for.
That would be fun.
Anyway, I also want to throw a shout out to Mike because he's also on the board of the Chamber of Commerce with me, and he does a good job being on the board of the chamber. And he hosts the golf tournament that we have out there, and he hosts the breakfast that we have once a month. And it's always fun to go to TPC, Mike.
Yeah, the golf tournament, which benefits the chamber, and also we have aligned ourselves with regards to benefiting also the local high schools and their golf programs.
Oh, perfect.
That's on April 18th.
All right. All right, Mike, we're up against a break. We appreciate you coming on, everybody. It's Mike Vandergoes, the general manager at TPC, who also used to work for Donald Trump.
And gentlemen, thank you very much for having me. John and Doug, I hope to see you guys soon.
Okay, Mike. All right, thanks, Mike. Take care. All right, you've been listening to Gazette Radio with Doug and John on AM-1220 KHTS, Santa Cruz hometown station. We are back after this.